Hey guys, welcome back to Your Average Delton. This is a space where we discuss real life, real loss, and the things we carry that most people never see. No filters, no pretending, just truth. I'm your host, Delton, and today we're diving into something really that's just been bothering me for a while. Do political leaders think we're stupid? That's really my question of today. Do they think Americans wake up every morning just dying to hate somebody because of a political party? Do they believe that if somebody votes Democrat, Republicans should automatically hate them? Or if somebody votes Republicans, Democrats should think they're evil? Because I got to tell you something. In the world that I live in, that's just not how it works. My friends, my neighbors, the people around me working hard every single day are just trying to pay bills, raise kids, survive inflation, and maybe enjoy a peaceful weekend. Most aren't walking around fueled by hate. But somehow every election season, every speech, every headline is like people are running around the country. They want us divided. So today, we're going to talk about it. Settle in, guys. Let's have a real conversation about something that's going to affect us all very, very soon. We're talking about politics. Have you ever noticed how every major issue somehow gets turned into a team sport again? Doesn't matter what it is. Gas prices, healthcare, school, immigration, taxes, even weather somehow becomes political. And instead of solving problems, politicians immediately start pointing fingers. These people are ruining America. These people are dangerous. If they win, democracy ends. If they win, freedom dies. You know what? I just want to say, man, relax. Just relax for a minute. Every election, they think this is the final battle of humanity. Meanwhile, regular Americans, we're just sitting there. Our thoughts of the week are, can I afford groceries? That's the America I'm in. Most people aren't extremists. Most people aren't terminally online screaming at strangers. Most people are, exhausted. I think that's what frustrates me the most. Politicians and media personality makes millions convincing us to hate each other. At the same time, they attend the same parties, shake the same hands, cash the same checks, and somehow magically become wealthier at the end of their term than when they started their term. But here's the thing. Somebody tell me I'm wrong. Because last time I checked, whether you vote red or blue, IRS still wants your money. Right? You have till April 15th and we're coming for it. Rent still goes up. Groceries still cost way too much. And somehow Washington always finds money for everything else except for those Americans that are just trying to breathe a little easier. Okay, so here's the thing I refuse to do. I'm not throwing away friendship because of politics. I'm not cutting off family because somebody voted differently than I did. I'm not going to hate somebody who's been good to me because a politician thinks I should. For me, that's insanity. I've got friends who vote Democrat, friends who vote independent, friends who vote Republican. And guess what? Most of them want the exact same thing I do. Safety, security, opportunity, affordable living, a government that actually works for them, a government that uses their tax dollars for them. That's it. Most Americans are way closer in values than politicians want us to believe. But division keeps people emotional, and emotional people are easier to manipulate. We have to really watch that. Think about it. If people are constantly angry at each other, they stop paying attention to the bigger picture. They stop asking questions. They stop looking for answers to the questions they have every day. Why are we paying more and getting less? Why do corruption never seems to disappear? Why do politicians leave office wealthier? than they enter? That's something I've been thinking about a long time. Why does every election promise change and somehow things keep getting harder for ordinary people? Those are the conversations they don't want us to have because united people are harder to control than divided. We got a problem, guys, because social media poured gasoline on the fire. Algorithms figured out something terrifying. Anger keeps people engaged. Outrage gets clicks. Fear spreads faster than facts. So every platform consistently feeds us content that make us mad. And eventually people stop seeing human beings. They start seeing labels: liberal, conservative, left wing, right wing. Like that's all a person is summed up to be. Just one of those labels. No nuance, no conversations, no humanity. Just stick them and put them on a team somewhere. That's what we've just been placed in. And the saddest part is regular people started treating politics like sports fandom. No accountability, no critical thinking, just defending their side, no matter what happens. Well, what we're trying to say is this: they don't work for us. At least they're supposed to, but politicians do not work for us. And somewhere along the way, we forgot that. Americans forgot that, or we're just not paying attention. If you're listening right now and you've got friends in your family that vote differently than you, I want you to think about something. Have they personally hurt you? Or were you simply told they were the enemy? Their votes were made by the enemy? Because there's a difference. Maybe, just maybe, the average American has more in common with each other than they do with people profiting off our division. Now let's talk about the thing people don't want to say out loud. A lot of Americans feels like the government doesn't work for them anymore. And honestly, can you blame them? People work harder every day, sometimes 2 jobs, still struggling, still stressed, still one emergency away from financial disaster. Meanwhile, politicians argue on television like professional wrestlers and then somehow approve their own raises. I mean, that disconnect is just growing between our politicians and the policies they provide for us. And when people lose trust in institutions, things get dangerous. Not because Americans hate each other. That's not what I'm talking about. Because Americans start feeling invisible. Americans starts feeling used. Like the system only remembers them during an election season. And then comes campaign ads. Promises after promises, fake smiles, the dramatic speeches, vote for me, and everything changes. Then the day after, back to business as usual. And that's where people's frustration comes from. That's where my frustration comes from. Not hate, disappointment. There's a difference. I'm tired of being told what I'm supposed to hate. I mean, I'm serious. Every week there's a new villain, a new enemy, a new group we're all apparently supposed to fear. I mean, enough already. Most Americans are decent people trying to survive. That's it. You know what would actually shock politicians? This would be something we should all just collectively try. If regular people stop attacking each other long enough to realize we're all getting played by the same game. Imagine if Americans started treating neighbors like neighbors again. Today we come in, we drive into our garage, we shut the door before we even get out because we don't know what they're thinking and what their politics are. Imagine having a conversation instead of screaming matches. Imagine disagreeing respectfully without acting like the world is ending. That shouldn't feel impossible. But nowadays it kind of does. And honestly, we have to find a way to recognize who's fueling that type of hate, that type of division. That's sad. We deserve leaders who unite people instead of divide them because of votes. We deserve honesty, transparency, accountability, and leaders who remember their public servants, not celebrities. They work for us. They're using our money to fund their agenda, which should be ours. Because somewhere along the line, politics became entertainment, and the American people, we became the audience. Meanwhile, our problems stay exactly the same. Nothing changes month over month, sometimes year over year. And I think a lot of Americans, left, right, independent, are starting to notice that not everybody wants constant outrage anymore. People are tired of fear, tired of manipulation, tired of being emotionally exhausted 24/7. And maybe that's where real change actually starts. Not with politicians, with regular people refusing to hate each other. So at the end of the day, your neighbor is probably not your enemy. The guy across the street with a different yard sign, probably just trying to survive, just like you are. The coworker who voted differently. The family member who's still just trying to feed their family. We're all the same. And maybe if we spent less time screaming about politics and more time actually talking to each other, we'd realize something important. Most Americans aren't divided as the internet wants us to believe. We've just been pushed into corners and told to fight. We don't have to play that game anymore. You can disagree with somebody and still respect them. You can debate issues without hatred. You can love your country without despising half the people living in it. That compromise is not a sign of weakness. That's maturity. And honestly, I think people in power underestimate how Americans are waking up to that reality. We have to start having a conversation with our neighbors. We need to start that today. Hey guys, I'm your average Delton. That's all I have for today. If this conversation resonated with you, share it with somebody, especially somebody you disagree with. Don't argue. Again, just to talk. Because maybe real change starts when regular people stop letting politicians destroy human connections. As always, please hit the subscribe button. That's the only way I know you were here. And please remember, your life is the only sermon some people may ever hear. Make it loud. I'm your average Delton. And as always, I'd like to leave you with this. Line up, cast your stone. Protect your borders, guard your throne. The neighbor opposite is blind, the greatest threat to humankind. Pick a color, take a side. Let the chasm open wide. You love the flag, you scorn the past, your scarred truths were meant to last. The radical and reckless schemes are nightmares in your waking dreams. They take your rights, they steal your voice. There is no middle, there is no choice. So lock the doors and bar the gates. Feed the anger that it creates. Consume the outrage, spark the fight, for you are pure and they are night. A house divided, rent in two. There is no us. There's only me and you. Hey guys, I'm your average Delton.